Meditation, how to. Cleaning, how to. Prayer, how to. Evolve, how to. We have to fix what. Once you have decided what to achieve, how to, the means to achieve that what becomes palpable easily through heartfulness way of practices. There are many ways of practicing meditations. All are great, but this is something that I've experienced and I'd like to share with you all. Humanity has often attempted to connect with the infinite through prayer. As that little boy was trying to look for the watch, he sat quietly, silently to feel where the sound was coming from. And he followed the direction of. Similarly, when we are trying to connect with God, He doesn't make the sound like tick, 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 tick of a watch, so that you may follow those tick ticks of the watch. How can you follow the God who is beyond sound, beyond forms, beyond qualities? Which direction shall we follow? It is said that language of God, if you want to learn, it's only one language: silence. Prayer should be able to take us into the deep silence. Only then the true communion can happen between myself. If you start from my outer self to my most innermost self, that dwells within the deep silence of my heart, and through that, to that infinite godliness. Act of prayer to me is nothing but act of surrender, act of submission, act of expressing my inner cry. My God, I'd like to experience you. It's not that I believe or don't believe. I like to believe. My belief can become stronger, my Lord, only if I can experience your presence. I don't have the fancy that I should experience God like this or God like that, but at your terms, at your conditions. I'm not very fanciful about praising the God of this religion or that religion. But all religions are man-made. I like to follow your religion, your essence, your love. And for that, my Lord, I humbly submit my prayer that I'd like to experience your presence and eventually, hopefully, if I can become like you, pure love. Prayer, cleaning, meditation. They are all means to achieve a goal of godliness. And what is godliness after all? Pure love. There is no more an act of loving, because the moment the idea of verb comes in, loving, then you become more selective. You have many choices then, come forward into your future. I got to love this. And per natural law, when you select that I got to love this, automatically you're going to deny another. But in the state of love, it's all encompassing. No one becomes an exception. So there's a great importance of offering a prayer in a deep silence. Let me give you an example. Have you observed the interactions of a couple who have been married for decades? A single glance speaks volumes, and hardly any words need to be spoken. Over the years, they have transcended the need for communication and entered into a state of communion with one another. The less two people understand of one another, the more they need to communicate, isn't it? So when a couple is newly married, a lot of communication is required. A lot of exaggeration also gets into this communication. I love you, and the other person says, I love you even more. Games go on. More they understand of one another, the subtler their communication becomes. And when they know each other so deeply, communication becomes redundant. This oft repeated statement, I love you, absolutely becomes redundant. It's when you are trying to love that you keep on saying, I love you. Similarly, in our attempt to reconnect with the infinite, with our origin, we begin with the formal prayer. Prayer is only the first step. It must mature into prayerfulness, a state of prayerfulness, deep silence, deep submission, deep surrender. In heartfulness, we use a simple 3-line prayer to help us achieve a prayerful state. I'll repeat this prayer to you. O Master, O God, Thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God and power to bring us up to that stage. We offer these 3 simple statements that define our human condition. What is lacking? Why is it lacking? How to achieve it? If the goal is the ultimate, what is preventing me from achieving that highest consciousness? My wishes, my desires. And we submit to God that, my Lord, without your help, without your intervention, I cannot attain that state of absolute love. In this prayer, there is no stated expectation, but there is still the feeling of differential, that we are not yet up to that stage, that there is still infinite journey ahead of us, and that we must continually refine and remove our wishes if there is a hope to experience finer and finer states of consciousness. While offering this prayer, we honor the present moment in our journey as well as acknowledging that the journey must continue. This is done at bedtime for 10 minutes to 15 minutes, so we remain prayerful all through the night to help us connect with our source, the inner source, before we go to sleep. It is also done for a few minutes just before meditation in the morning as a way of resetting our connection. By beginning and ending the day this way, by offering a heartfelt prayer, connection remains established with the ultimate throughout the day as well as throughout our sleep. And over time, self-mastery develops through this inner connection. This also develops a very refined state of Turiya and Turiyatit states, which hardly people talk about, and hardly anyone seems to have experienced such a state. At bedtime, sit comfortably, gently, lovingly, closing your eyes and simply relax. Silently and slowly repeat the words of the prayer which I just shared with you. Meditate for 10 to 15 minutes over true meaning of each word. Feel the meaning, contemplate on the meaning of the words that resonate in your heart rather than trying to analyze them. It's okay, you can analyze them, but try to feel them. What is the meaning of it and how it applies to my life at the moment. Let the meaning surface from within. Try to get lost in it. Go beyond the words and let the feelings come to you. In Vedas, one wonders how did these great sages were able to receive those words. My insight shows that they received it in the form of feelings and they transcribed it in the words. Our job is to use these words and recreate the feelings. That's more important than anything else. So repeating these words, not like a parrot, but contemplating on the meaning of the prayer and how it applies to us now. Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga culminates with samadhi, but what precedes the samadhi is meditation. All the angas finally culminates into samadhi. When mind becomes meditative, we have to meditate. Let's see, we meditate for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, doesn't matter. Start meditation somewhere and observe your state. And see if you are able to allow your mind to hold on to this state as long as you can during daytime. So it's okay to meditate for 15 minutes, but better would be to remain meditative during daytime as much as possible. This meditative state, somehow, as we savor more and more of it, we remain more and more connected with our inner self, the guide, the source of the guidance, in a very loving way. We call constant remembrance. I don't think we have a lot of time to discuss on this constant remembrance, but I give you one small example from Lord Krishna and Mother Radha's life. There was a time when Radha was remembering Lord Krishna, 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna. She was so much absorbed. And one day, one fine moment, her inner personality completely resonated with Lord Krishna. And she herself started saying, as if Krishna is saying, Radhe, 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 Radhe. They become superimposed, resonating with each other, identifying each other in each other. No more separation was there. So this is the parakasta, culmination, that we are striving for, absolute merger with the absolute, total merger. I like to call this simple process by remembering 5 vowels: A, E, I, O, U. To me, A means, this acronym A stands for acquiring a state, meditative state. Okay, having acquired this state, what do? We further enliven it, make it more intense. I, E. Enlivening happens when that inner condition is reflected daily through our behavior changes. More refined a state within me, I can make it more enlivened through my lifestyle. So, in order to acquire, I have to meditate. In order to enliven that condition, I have to adopt my lifestyle, my behavior that way. Third, by intensifying. How do you intensify such an inner state? It will automatically happen once you start communicating with each other. More and more remembrance will reinforce this idea of intensifying. It becomes more and more. For example, you're in the office and suddenly you remember your meditative state that you enjoyed in the morning. Few minutes of repeated meditation will further take you onward on your journey. It will make it more potent. O is to establish that sort of oneness. More you experience it, more you savor this condition. You become one with that state, one with that condition. And finally, the merger I just talked to you about, citing an example of Mother Radha with Lord Krishna. That's the automatic next step for which no effort is required. We can only make effort up to a certain extent. Merger happens with His grace. As I mentioned yesterday, an introduction to heartfulness practice usually comprises of 3 sessions. Let's now prepare for our third meditation session.
Now, you will be guided through a process of relaxation and meditation. During the meditation, please be open to receiving pranahuti, which is a transmission from the source of all existence. This transmission can rejuvenate every cell in your body. Sit comfortably and close your eyes very slowly and very gently. Let's begin with the toes. Wiggle your toes. Now, feel them relax. Feel healing energy from the earth move up into your feet and ankles. Then up to your knees, relaxing your lower legs. Now feel the healing energy move up your legs, relaxing them. Relax your thighs. Now, deeply relax your hips, stomach, and waist. Relax your back. From the top to the bottom, your entire back is relaxed. Relax your chest and shoulders. Feel your shoulders simply melting away. Relax your upper arms. Relax each muscle in your forearms. Relax your hands, right up to your fingertips. Now relax your neck muscles. Suppose that the source of divine light is already present within your
Thank you for all for joining us on this special program. I heartfully invite you to try all the practices, meditation, cleaning, prayer we have spoken about. These practices are also available on our website, heartfulness.org. Also, you can join us for group meditation on the Heartfulness YouTube channel every Sunday at 8:45 a.m. India times, of course. You can also connect with the trainers of the system online through the app we call Hearts app. All these services are provided completely free of charge. I also would like to thank Swami Ramdev Babaji, our very dear sister Shivani, very dear brother Gaur Gopal Das ji, and Shekhar ji, of course, for joining us. Thank you all and have a very happy and heartful New Year. May it be blessed.